Pain is a portal. What side of your body is trying to speak to you? And what message does it carry for you? Our culture has a very difficult relationship with pain. I myself have had a very difficult relationship with pain. For 3 years, I struggled with fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, Graves' disease, interstitial cystitis. For 16 years, endometriosis, polycystic ovary syndrome. For several years, Lyme disease. God, the list just keeps on going. And for 10 years, I had severe chronic pain on the left side of my body. So as we go through this video, you'll see what I struggled with. In allopathic medicine, in Western medicine, our relationship to both emotional and physical pain is to numb it. It's to fix it. It's something to get rid of. But what we often don't understand or account for is the fact that our body does not speak to us in words and language. It shows up as sensations when it is trying to get our attention. So much of our lives are lived outside of the body. We are very dissociated in this day and age. We are living in the mind, living up to expectations, and the body is where the soul resides. It is where we reside. And from a very young age in this system, we are told that we are not to listen to our own bodies, but to listen to our parents, listen to the schools, listen to your authorities. And so from a very young age, we abandon it. And later on in life, it can show up as pain. Now, it's really easy to think of pain as random. You can think of it as just the physical occurrence. When we look at pain as a messenger, we realize that actually we are these energetic bodies, and we are made up of the very cells of divinity, of the universe, of everything that is. So I see it as, even if something is precipitated by a material force, it is actually our consciousness bringing forth that experience so that our soul can have the experience it needs to learn the lessons that it's here to learn. When I was 3 months old, I had a medical procedure that precipitated a long stay in the hospital. I was on a tracheostomy. I was pretty much dying, and they couldn't figure out why. When I was 18, once again, disease was precipitated by a toxin. I'm very sensitive to these things. So we can stop it right there, right? We can stop it right there and say, oh, it was this thing that caused this. But when I look at it from the perspective of, I needed that lesson. I needed whatever that thing was in order to bring that pain into my life so I could learn from it. It completely changes the way that we look at pain, at fatigue, at all of these things. And this video is about physical pain, but the same can be said about emotional pain.
Because the thing is, if we want to be able to meet beauty, joy, love, then to some capacity, we have to be willing to meet pain with the same level of presence. And this increases our capacity and our capability to hold all emotions and sensations in our bodies.
So this video will tie in some ancient wisdom, but much of this is my own experience. Those are my credentials, working with clients, being in healthcare for over 10 years. My credentials are deeply lived, and I have learned to view pain and all of the sensations in my body as a message. I have a workshop coming up. It's called Turning Triggers into Gold, and it carries a very similar tune around meeting the triggers, meeting the sensations in our body with presence rather than fear, and allowing our lives to completely transform from that space when we do the work, when we show up every day and we're committed to meeting the sensations. Let's talk about the left side versus the right side and what any injuries, pain, or reoccurring aches on either side can show you about where you are in your life at that time and what your body is asking you to listen to. Traditionally, the right side of the mind rules the feminine. It's creative, it's flow, it's receptive. And the left side of the mind is strategic, it's logical, it's more masculine. But they rule the opposite side of the bodies. And in yoga, we have tens of thousands of these energy channels called nadis, but there's 3 principal ones, and they're Ida, Pingala, Shoshana. Ida is the left side of the body. So the left side is the feminine. It's receptive. It's about surrender, flow, receiving. And the right side is more masculine. It's about initiating, taking action. The energy moves outward. When we have certain pain on one side of the body or other, it's an invitation for us to understand, what is it that I'm bypassing right now? And this can change, right? It can show up sometimes on the right, sometimes on the left, sometimes on both sides. We'll talk about that later. When we have pain on the left side, it's important to ask ourselves, where am I struggling to surrender right now? Where am I struggling to receive right now? And vice versa, when we have pain on the right side, we can ask ourselves, where am I struggling to take action right now, to move forward in some way? Now, I wish that it was as easy as that, right? If pain in the body was that easy, then we wouldn't have such a global issue with this, with autoimmune disorders, with pain disorders. We're going to add a little bit of complexity here. If you have pain on both sides, as I did with fibromyalgia, it was both sides of my back. This is more indicative of a completely overwhelmed system than it is the flow and trust of the left versus the taking action moving forward of the right. In the future, I'll make another video about this, but just know that that is a different message. The other thing that's important to recognize about this is that there is a non-duality to life. So anytime we split things up into right or left, if we think about the yin-yang symbol, there is a part of each in the other part. In the left, inherently there's right. In the right, there's inherently left. So for example, surrender, what we associate with the left, is actually an active process. It is a choice. It is a decision. And likewise, if we are taking action, but there is no surrendering to the universal will or to the outcome of what we are taking action on, then that action becomes problematic itself. So these two are intermingled with one another. And this is where understanding how to communicate with your body and learning the language of your body becomes so important, why I'm so passionate about teaching that. So I'll give you an example of my left-sided pain, and another way of how, I went to a very niche PT and it made a lot of sense. Our left side and our right side are not even because our diaphragm is bigger on one side than the other. I think it's on the left. And so a lot of our bodies are crooked. And so I did the exercises. I did tons of, I tried everything, of course, I'm sure you can imagine, except really allopathic medicine because I just knew it wouldn't help. When I did this PT, it helped. But I would always ask them the question, why are some people crooked and don't have pain? And they were like, yeah, that's a mystery. We don't know. And that really wasn't good enough for me. And so it worked while I was doing the exercises, my pain decreased. But if I stopped, then the pain would come back. And so it didn't really feel like I was really getting to the root of it. This is part of the work that I did to get to the root of it, was understanding what's actually happening here. So my left side of the body, the surrender, is where I had my pain. I was taking a lot of action in life on the outside, but the action that I was taking, the movement forward, was out of alignment with me and what I wanted, what my soul desired. And that was the work that was really necessary. The action wasn't the problem. So when I went into my pain and I developed trust with my body, I discovered that the right side of my body didn't trust the left side to surrender. And so there was a conversation that had to be had with both sides of the body to reconcile that. And this done over time, along with other soul work. And what I always say, that entering into this space where it's not just about doing the work, but actually aligning with what you discover. So it was a certain amount of work and then having to align to that ultimately helped me be able to get on the other side. And now it only shows up when I've been not really listening to something. And so I'm able to see it as this divine messenger that it is. So this is a place to begin understanding where the pain happens in our bodies and what that's trying to show us. If we are to move into this next phase of the collective transition, as I talk a lot about on my channel and in my teachings, where things are rapidly changing, there's a lot of air and fire collectively. It's very easy to get swept up in that. And it's more important than ever to do the soul work of what it is that you are here to offer the world, and to ground down into that, to be able to embody it and bring it into form. And this is why I do what I do, right? This is why I mix these cosmic cycles with the cycles of you and help you realign there using somatics and shadow work, and helping you walk the path. I offer one-on-one sessions. I have that workshop coming up, and I'm going to be doing these workshops. I'd love to hear if you have any stories about pain and how it's shown up in your body. And even if it's something like a physical injury that was precipitated by some sort of outside force, how can you start looking at that time in your life, maybe it's right now, and seeing, oh, the universe might have been trying to get me to see this. And I just didn't see it because I was stuck in trying to fix it, trying to get rid of it, rather than to listen to it, to let it move me, to let it touch me, to let it show me. I'd love to hear your stories down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. And I'll see you guys next time.